She's 27. The apartment is spotless in the way that only happens when someone is never actually home. A sectional couch she bought on financing, a kitchen with vitamins, oat milk, and nothing else. Her phone charges on the nightstand and buzzes at 6:52 a.m., not an alarm, a meeting reminder. She's already behind before she's fully awake. She makes $91,000 a year. She has $280 in savings. Two neighborhoods over, another woman is making coffee. The mug is chipped. The coffee is from a grocery store bag, not a subscription. Her apartment costs $550 less per month. Her bookshelf has books with cracked spines and pencil notes in the margins. She's 26. She earns $58,000. She has no credit card debt, 3 months of expenses saved, and this morning, nowhere urgent to be. Same city, same generation, same age, and the woman with the $91,000 salary genuinely believes the other one just hasn't caught up yet. That's where it begins. There is a story this culture tells women about their 20s. Work hard, earn more, build the life that looks something, the apartment with good light, the wardrobe that signals arrival, the salary that makes all the sacrifices feel worth it. The story disguises itself as ambition, and ambition, for women, has always been something to prove. But underneath the ambition, something quieter is happening. A slow negotiation between the life being built and the freedom being spent to build it. Most women don't notice the terms of that negotiation until the decade is already over. The salary was never the problem, but it was never the solution either. Your 20s are the only window in your life where the cost of choosing differently is genuinely low, where living small carries no permanent consequence, where the obligations you take on are still mostly optional. Before the mortgage, before the permanent version of yourself that has become too expensive to change. Most women spend this window building the most rigid structure possible on the most flexible foundation available. A fixed salary that becomes an identity, a fixed address that becomes proof of something, a fixed lifestyle, the gym membership, the meal kit, the standing dinner reservation that feels earned, but quietly functions as a cage. By 28, millions of women are economically committed to lives they designed at 23 without fully understanding what they were designing. And the tragedy isn't the commitment. It's that the life fits well enough that leaving feels irrational, even when staying feels like slowly disappearing. The numbers are uncomfortable. The average American woman in her late 20s carries over $40,000 in non-mortgage debt, student loans, par payments, credit card balances that began as emergencies and calcified into permanent monthly expenses. Research consistently shows the majority of Americans under 35, regardless of income, cannot absorb a $1,000 financial shock without borrowing. Not because they aren't earning, many earn more than their mothers did at the same age. The money arrives, it simply leaves before it has time to mean anything. And this is where the psychology becomes interesting and uncomfortable. When income suddenly appears after years of uncertainty, the lifestyle expands to meet it. Behavioral economists call it consumption matching. It happens not out of recklessness, but out of something deeply human, the feeling that you have finally earned the right to live like someone with resources. For women, this has an extra layer, because financial independence was never assumed for them, it was achieved. So when it arrives, spending it becomes self-definition. The apartment isn't just an apartment. The wardrobe isn't just clothes. They are evidence, a physical argument that she has made it. But proof is expensive to maintain. Every upgrade becomes a new baseline. The $1,700 apartment that felt luxurious in month 1 feels ordinary by month 5. The car that felt like freedom becomes simply the car. The dopamine fades on schedule, the payment does not. That's the part nobody talks about. By 26, she may be earning more than she ever imagined at 21,
and be more financially exposed than she has ever been. Because each raise was absorbed immediately: a nicer neighborhood, a newer phone, a subscription that continued because canceling felt like inconvenience. None of it felt reckless. Each decision made sense in isolation. But the sum of those decisions is a life that requires her full income just to sustain itself. No margin, no slack. One disruption, a layoff, a health issue, a relationship ending, and the whole structure reveals how thin its foundation actually is. This is lifestyle inflation, not a dramatic event, a slow, invisible erosion of options. And the cruelest part is that from the outside, it looks exactly like success. But the psychology goes deeper, because what she is really purchasing, what most of this is really about, is a version of herself that exists in the minds of other people. Social media didn't create status anxiety, it made it continuous. Every morning, before she is fully awake, she is already measuring the vacation in someone's story, the promotion announcement, the restaurant she has been meaning to try. The algorithm is not neutral. It is an engine designed to make ordinary life feel insufficient, running 24 hours a day on a device she sleeps next to. She is not just spending money, she is managing a self-image. And self-image maintenance is one of the most expensive subscriptions of all, because it never sends an invoice. It just quietly shapes every decision about where to live, what to wear, and what kind of woman she is allowed to be. The real budget is never in the spreadsheet. It's in the story she's telling about herself.
Here is the reframe that changes everything, and almost no one offers it in your 20s. The most valuable thing you can accumulate in this decade is not a salary, not a title, not a wardrobe. It is optionality, the capacity to make a different choice next year than you made this year, to walk away from something that isn't working, to say yes to something unexpected without needing your bank account's permission first. The woman in the second apartment has this, not because she earns more, she earns significantly less, but her fixed costs are low enough that her income creates actual room. Room to think, room to leave if she needs to, room to take a pay cut for work that actually fits her. The woman in the first apartment earns $30,000 more per year and has almost none of this. Her salary is large, her freedom is small. Most people confuse income with control. Most women are never taught the difference. There is a quieter version of the 20s, less photographable. It looks like driving an old car past the age when it became embarrassing, splitting rent longer than felt socially acceptable, wearing the same coat 3 winters in a row, saying no to the trip without a complete explanation. From the outside, it looks like scarcity. From the inside, it feels like clarity. The women building this version of their 20s are often perceived as behind, but what they are building is invisible to everyone except themselves, and eventually to time. Because the gap between a woman who spent her 20s performing financial arrival and one who quietly accumulated freedom, that gap doesn't show at 27. It shows at 35, when one of them has options and the other has obligations, when one can pivot and the other cannot afford to, when one has time and the other is still trading all of it for a life that was supposed to feel like enough by now. Your 20s matter more than your salary, because this is the only decade where your choices compound without permanent consequence. The woman who spends these years understanding how money actually behaves, not how to budget, but how lifestyle commitments become identity, how freedom is protected or surrendered one reasonable decision at a time, she will see every fork in the road more clearly. Not because she earns more, because she sees more. And what she eventually sees, in the quiet moments that don't make it onto any platform, is this: the apartment was never the point. The salary was never the measure. The wardrobe, the car, the curated version of herself that looked put together from a certain angle, none of it was the destination. It was the decoy. She still lives in that city. Smaller apartment now than the one before. A job that pays less, but leaves her evenings intact. She makes coffee before her phone is in her hand. She has a plant she's kept alive for 2 years, which sounds small and is not. On certain mornings, the slow ones, the ones with nowhere urgent to be, she sits by the window and feels something that has no name in any financial framework. She just knows it's hers. And she knows now that this was always what she was building toward. She just needed the decade to show her what it was.